Hello and welcome back to another episode of PopCulture Reacts, and we are back in the world of Maximum The Hormone, and it is time for the final track on Fuxi Yushu and Queen Sperm.
Final track?
This is the last track on the album. This is what they leave us with on their last album. So there has been EP
Well,
since, it's fine, but this
we're re-
was
we're recording this on the cusp of June, so we're recording this in May. Probably be on the channel a little bit later than that. And so we're not even halfway through the year yet. But um, I when we do our year-end favorite reacts to, my God, some stuff in this second half of the year is going to have to absolutely blow me away to even get close to knocking this band out of the top five. And I can't imagine it, is the honest truth. But I won't say right now which one of theirs is my favourite, because that will be for year end stuff. But yeah, I'll be absolutely shocked if they don't appear at least once and possibly more than once.
so. Are we ready for Queen Sperm?
Yes, we are. Let's go.
がるまま僕を叱らないでね
I'm a big fan of how physically exhausted they are after doing the green screen bit. It reminded me of how I imagine I would be if I had to do 5 minutes of any activity for the recording of a video.
So obviously, when I saw them, that was the last song they played as their set, and every fucker was doing the dance.
I really liked that bit in the video, and I know obviously we've got the kind of the live stage performance and that going up on there. I don't know like why, but I get a really nice um friends and family kind of vibe from them as a band. Like I really do genuinely feel like they have fun together and like each other. And when you see that kind of going on in the corner, I think that just reinforces that. It just
Yeah.
looks like they went, let's do that. That's fun.
Well, Ryu, the guitarist and the drummer, they're brother and sister.
Oh,
So
well, there you go. Boom.
yeah,
Like, I mean, but to be honest, when I say family and friendly fun, the sort of familial feel that you tend to get from people outside your family, because normally they're inside your family, go, oh, I don't want to do that. But yeah, yeah. So I guess they're those vibes. But like the whole lot of them, they seem. I get the feeling they hang around together afterwards. It's not just like a
yeah.
job for them. It's yeah, like these are my mates. This is my gang. This is whatever terminology you want to put to it.
So what did you think of Queen of Sperm?
Air. It's the first
Really?
air. Yeah, massively, massively. And don't get me wrong, you know how much I like them. So an air for them is still better than most. But yeah, the first miss for me, and it was in comparatively to what else we've heard, it was quite wide of the mark for me. Like really, possibly this is unfair because I think the thing that stood out for me when we've done them before is how hugely creative musically they are throughout, and just so many kind of transitions and so many different pacings and styles. And this was not it. This was the blandest I've heard them musically for most of the song. Now it's the sort of thing that you'd often hear in some of their transitions or some of the funny bits
Mm.
towards the middle or the end of a song, that I think at maybe sort of like 30-second spots, because it's coming in and out of everything else, is fine. But God, this was for the most part close to 5 minutes of the most boring I've heard them be,
See, I love
and
this.
repetitive and
Oh,
repetitive.
it is repetitive, but this is just fun. This is this is their fun song. This is their
I don't know. I think Aliens, for me, is their fun song. Like that's fun. This is not fun for me. But of course, yeah. Sorry, carry on. It's fun for you. I shouldn't cut in and go. It's not fun for me. It's all about me. No, like go.
But yeah, no, this is that fun, silly song for me. That yeah, it doesn't do what a lot of their other stuff is, which as we've said before on with Maximum, is they shit money riffs and they fill a song with
But
20
combine them.
riffs that
Yeah.
that any other band would dine out on. This, yes, it doesn't have the transitions and as much as the other stuff does, but I I love the main hook that goes through it. I love when it gets when you get the speedy up before you go into the sort of the circle pit moment. I really enjoy the heavier death metally sort of raw bit as well. It just hits for me.
I think if we'd have had, and again, maybe it's just what I've become used to. Like, I'm not saying it needed to be heavy throughout. I think the fact that like the heavy part almost replaced the fun, softer parts that you tend to get
Mm,
somewhere in it. But I think what I'm used to is in the bulk of it, them doing a lot more musically than they did in this. Whereas this, oh, didn't. Uh, I've used this before, and I'm going to use it again. Feels like it would be on the soundtrack of Road Trip or Euro Trip or something like that, and you know, that's where I kind of go. Does nothing for me because there's hundreds upon thousands of songs that just sit there and do that, and I don't think many of them are particularly interesting or exciting. And I guess at least this has a bit of a transition, but yeah, yeah, just really a real miss for me.
cover me surprised. I would have thought you'd have.
I need to also check the translation that I was working with for the lyrics, because there were a couple of lines where I just thought that can't be the line, can it? But maybe it is. That didn't help either. Now, bearing in mind, we actually said this before we went on the record, and maybe this is a dark road that I shouldn't go down. I haven't actually. I enjoyed the other tracks so much musically, and just the way the vocals are delivered, that I haven't read the lyrics and translations to anything else. But reading the lyrics to this one, if that is what other lyrics are like, then I said they couldn't drop out my top five, and they probably won't for the two tracks that I particularly love. But lyrically, this is toss as well, absolute toss, and not fun, not funny, just toss.
Well,
I'm not a 14-year-old boy anymore, so just saying sperm over and over again isn't funny. We've had a rough recording session for people attempting humour, and this one doesn't do it for me in the slightest bit on the humour. And not to be a prude, I just think like you got to just be more creative. Just saying a word that's a little bit, ooh, if you're a kid, over and over again ain't ever going to do it for me anymore.
so I still have points the mentality of a 14-year-old because
Apparently so.
I like this. But what do you lot out there think? Comments down there. And as always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and all the ant.
Did you say this was the closing track on the album?
Yeah.
I'd have been gutted. I'd have been like, oh god. But then I guess I wouldn't have wanted it as opening track either, because I'd have been like, oh, what am I in for here? But
The differences between us there. It's like one of us loves it and just thinks it's fun, and yeah, then it's you.
well, yeah, I mean, again, like I think it's we said like in this world's full of different opinions and all this sort of thing. But it just it lacks its fun because it meanders for me. Does a lot. We've had this a few times recently, and bearing in mind, like one of my first loves is hip hop, where often there is repetitiveness to the beat, but I think a lot of the time you are relying on ones with more repetitive beats. You're relying on an MC being good and having really good lines, but generally, very repetitive music is a bit of a struggle for me, and this was very repetitive. Yeah, and as I say, like fun. Um, God, there's no other way of saying it. Fun will probably never be someone saying sperm, spunk, or any of those words over and over again anymore for me, because I probably 20 plus years ago said sperm and spunk a lot when it felt edgy and funny. It doesn't feel edgy nor funny now. just feel a bit sad. Is the honest truth.
See, it still has the mentality of a 14-year-old. I find it funny.
Okay. Well, I know what to. If I ever record a song for you, I will just say a naughty word over and over again.
Yes. So, until next time, goodbye.